of God, in whom we live and move and have our being. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. So today is All Saints Sunday, when we in the church celebrate what has come to be known as the communion of saints, the eternal reality of our unity and oneness with God. The communion of saints is the eternal reality of our unity and oneness in God. Those who came before us, those who are alive now, including all of us, and those who will come after us, are one. Joined together in the heart of God, in the infinite and eternal oneness of the one we call God. The communion of saints. So, how's our communion been feeling to you lately? How are we doing in reflecting that eternal reality of oneness right here and right now? In recent days and in a span of 72 hours, we saw 2 African American people shot to death by a man who had gone to try to do the same at an all-black church, but not being able to gain access there, he took his hate-filled rage to a nearby shopping center, and he killed those 2 beautiful, innocent people. Several, are we up to 14 now? Several pipe bombs were mailed to public leaders across the country who had expressed certain political views. Thanks be to God, no one was hurt. And another hate and rage-filled suspect was apprehended. A group of our Jewish brothers and sisters were gunned down while worshiping the God we all love and share at their synagogue in Pittsburgh. 11 beautiful, innocent children of God were killed in a massacre that was once again fueled by baseless, incomprehensible hate and rage. In 2 days, we have a national midterm election whose heated rhetoric has continued to stoke hate and fear and divisiveness. This is surely a difficult and challenging time to be alive and to be a Christian or any lover of God. Why is this happening? And what, if anything, can we do about it? I'd like to reflect on this for a couple of minutes. In light of the eternal reality of the communion of saints, and in light of the words of Jesus in today's gospel. The problem, I'm convinced, is an issue of identity. Identity. We forget to remember who we are. We are made in the image and likeness of God, and we are one. One with God and one with one another, whether we know it or not. And in today's gospel, Jesus is trying to remind us again. The scribes asked Jesus, which commandment is the first, the greatest, the most important of all? Jesus replied to them and to us, the Lord our God is one. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. Jesus said that God, in whose image we are made, is one. And he said that we are to love our neighbor, everyone else, as yourself. Jesus did not say, love your neighbor as you would love yourself. He didn't say, love your neighbor as if he or she were yourself. He didn't even say, pretend your neighbor is the same as you and love them. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. As yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. We are one. I am my neighbor, and my neighbor is me. You are your neighbor, and your neighbor is you. We are our neighbors, and our neighbors are us. In a very real and eternal way, we are one. And that means, of course, all our neighbors. Everyone, everywhere, every time. No matter what race or gender or religion or political persuasion. No matter how young or old or rich or poor. No matter where they live, where they came from, or where they're going. All people are our neighbors. Everyone, everywhere, every time. They are us, and we are them, according to Jesus. But we forget to remember who we are. We're made in the image and likeness of God. We are one with God and one with one another. Think about how the awareness of that one very simple and very profound spiritual truth could change everything. Everything. And it's true, and it's real, and it's eternal, and it's now. God says so, Jesus says so. In fact, every great spiritual teacher and every great spiritual tradition in the world says so. But still, we forget to remember who we are. Following all the great spiritual teachers of humanity, including Jesus, Thomas Merton wrote, "We are already one, but we imagine we are not. What we have to recover is our original unity. What we have to be is what we are." According to Merton, what we have to be is what we are, and we are one. Jesus said to love our neighbor as ourself because our neighbor is ourself. We are our neighbor. In the eyes and heart and mind and spirit of God, we are one. One with God and one with one another. God is calling us to live into that reality right here and right now, because we will be living into that reality forever. Together forever in the heart of God, the communion of saints. I'll let Thomas Merton have the almost last word today. He wrote, "To say that I am made in the image of God is to say that love is the reason for my existence. For God is love. Love is my true identity. Selflessness is my true self. Love is my true character. Love is my name. If," he goes on, "if therefore I do anything or think anything or say anything or know anything that is not purely for love, it cannot give me peace or rest or fulfillment or joy. To find love, I must enter into the sanctuary where it is hidden, which is the mystery of God." Thomas Merton. Those of us who enter into the mystery of God, into the sanctuary of God's love, into this sanctuary of God's love, we have an obligation to remember who we are and to invite others into the wonder and the beauty of that eternal reality. We don't have to say it necessarily. It's much more powerful to live it. So let's do that. And remember that the darker it gets, the brighter we are called to shine the light. The light of God's love for all. For all. So don't forget to remember who we are. We're made in the image and likeness of God. We are one. One with God and one with one another. Love your neighbor as yourself. Because they are. Because they are.